Live from Studio 6B on Real America's Voice on a Thursday night, 17 past the hour. Glad you're in. Dish Network, Channel 219, Pluto TV, Channel 240. Paul's hoping to do more news if I would shut up.
I'm enjoying the show. And, I got a great seat.
I believe the phrase is, just shut up already, man.
Rick Delgado's here. Rick Emirati's going to have more sports, but being nice enough to join us tonight is Pastor Darrell Scott. Of course, he's the author of the brand new book, Nothing to Lose, which he was on the show the day I believe it came out. But he's been nice enough to join us again. Pastor Scott, how are you?
I'm doing great, man. I'm so used to hearing my wife tell me to shut up. You know, that I'm glad you guys are telling each other to shut up. I hear that all the time.
Well, no, we don't want you to shut up. We want you to talk. So that's why we're happy to have you on. Well, you know, I've spent most of the show. I know you haven't. You're not sitting here watching it, but I know you've been busy tonight. But we've spent most of the show going through a lot of this history of Joe Biden, because I'm just sick of hearing about how he's such a sympathetic figure, and it's Joe being Joe, and the president at the debate was, he was. What is he supposed to do? Be Paul Ryan in 2012? Joe Biden is a nasty old man who has always been that way, and so I guess let's start here. Give me your thoughts on what happened Tuesday night.
But first, going into the debate, you know, my friend and I, my business partner and I were talking earlier today about how America has given Joe Biden, the media has given Joe Biden this pass. Like going into it, well, you know, Joe was going to make some gaffes. Okay, well, since when are gaffes allowable for presidential candidates?
Yeah. Like,
okay, Joe, if he doesn't make 10 gaffes, then it's just Joe. But if Trump makes one gaffe, it's a national crisis. And, you know, I'm tired of it. I'm sick of Joe. Joe's a nasty. You know what Joe is? Joe's an old fart. That's what Joe is. and there's a difference between an old man and an old fart. Joe's a fart. I want to go on record as saying Joe is a fart. He's just an old fart, man. And get that old fart out of here. I'm sick of Joe. I'm tired of Joe. He's not some nice, sympathetic, nice old grandpa. He's an old, nasty fart. And you know what? He revealed his true colors when he said, shut up, man, to the president. And then he called him a clown. If the president had told Joe Biden to shut up, and if he'd have called Joe Biden a clown, oh my God, imagine the outrage.
Or if Mitt Romney had done it in 2012 to President Obama, we'd still be seeing front page headlines about it.
If I'd have been up there and Joe had told me to shut up and call me a clown, you'd be seeing front page outrage about it, and you'd be probably seeing somebody getting bailed out of jail.
Yeah.
I'd have went over there and knocked Joe off that stage. He said this stuff to me. And I'm a pastor. So imagine the temperament that Donald Trump must have. Trump is a guy, he's a boss, he's a CEO. He's not used to anybody on any level telling him to shut up or calling him a clown. To me, he showed remarkable restraint.
Yeah,
That's what I think.
He never called him Sleepy Joe. He never was disrespectful in the way that Joe was to him. He never resorted to name calling or of any kind. So I guess the one thing I did come away with, this is just my opinion. I did think the president left a couple opportunities on the table to kind of let the conversation breathe a little bit. He turned to Joe and said, "Name one law enforcement agency that's endorsed you," and then he kind of went at him where Joe was kind of boxed in, where if you had just kind of given him Joe that space there, Joe would have done what he always does, which is try to fill space with words and say something ridiculous and stupid. But I felt like the president left a couple moments like that where maybe he could have just laid back and let Joe stumble. Did you feel that at all or no?
Well, in a way, but in a way I didn't, because you know, when you're in that moment, it's like, you know, when you're watching a sporting event, you'll say, well, that receiver over there was open. He should have thrown it to him. Or this over here should have did that. It's easy to say that when you're watching from the outside in, but when you're in that moment, it's an entirely different mindset and scenario. And you know what else? People say that he was interrupting Joe. I don't think it was as much an interruption as it was a challenge. Joe was asked pointed questions, and Joe was sitting there just spouting lies. The president was challenging Joe because Chris Wallace refused to challenge him on things that needed to be challenged. And I'll give you an example. Even when they asked Joe, did he align himself with the Black Lives Matter organization, which is a black supremacist organization. I'm not talking about the slogan, the principle, the precept of yes, Black Lives Matter. I'm talking about the organization itself. Joe didn't answer the question at all. Joe didn't even acknowledge the question. When Joe said that Antifa was simply an idea, Chris Wallace and them didn't challenge that. And so the president felt that because they weren't doing their job, he had to do it. So, everyone says that he should have stopped. But when he did try to show restraint, when he did try to let Joe talk, so many lies were coming, unchallenged lies were coming out of Joe's mouth that he felt that he had to challenge it.
Yeah. So I got a couple minutes left here, and I haven't spoken to you since the president. This is why this whole argument about him and white supremacy and this, if he disavows it, which he has about 100 times in the last 10 years, and I've played a lot of the clips tonight. But, the president, I believe, has moved to make lynching a hate crime, which a lot of people have called for, and Rand Paul's been the one to stand in the way. The president's done that. We know the connections and the inroads he's making in the African-American community, and he released his Platinum Plan, which I have here, the graphic, if you can see it up, but I haven't spoken to you since he gave that speech. Give me your thoughts on this.
Oh, that Platinum Plan is amazing. I had a chance to work with them one day. We've been working on it for over a year. It would have possibly been unveiled earlier had it not been for the pandemic, and we had to put it on pause for a while. But, I had a conversation with someone earlier about reparations for the black community, and I said this Platinum Plan has so many facets and components in it that it can serve as a template for reparations itself. There's access to capital and so many other things that are in there that will be very beneficial for the black community. And as far as this white supremacist crap is concerned, I'm sick of hearing about this stuff. I'm sick of hearing about white privilege. I'm sick of hearing about white supremacy. I wish they would ask Joe about black supremacy and see what he would say. He'd probably agree with it or something now because of the times that we're in. He's flip-flop Joe. He'll flip-flop his position on anything. You see what he did about the Green New Deal? This guy is saying he didn't endorse the Green New Deal, and it's up on his website that he does.
Yeah.
And so,
yeah,
it's crazy, man. The president fought. You know what it was? It was like a tag team match. It's the president and Joe Biden and Chris Wallace were tag team partners. And you know what happened? He chokeslammed both of them.
Yeah. Well, he may have to do it again in the next one because we find out today that this Steve Scully, who, I actually heard people say, well, he could be the best or the most he could be the best of the three. Obviously, Kristen Welker from NBC is going to do the third one. I'm not going to hold out much hope that she's going to do a great job. But now we find out today that Steve Scully used to intern for Joe Biden. So what is going on with the RNC with doing their homework on, kind of saying yes to all these debates and yes to the moderators and who they are? Should they be making more of a stink about these moderators before they just agree to all this stuff?
The one bone I have to pick with the RNC is that we concede too much. Yeah. We're always the party of concession. We're always the party of, can we just get along? Let me tell you something about those Democrats. They don't bend and they don't break.
Yeah.
And they stand behind their people and they never disagree with them in public. And I wish the RNC would adopt more of President Trump's character, and that's what frustrates him so much, his temperament, his demeanor, because he doesn't bend and he doesn't break and he doesn't lay down and he doesn't roll over and play dead. But the RNC, in a number of cases, we do that. We're so interested in getting along that we allow ourselves to be taken advantage of. Yeah. We've got the incumbent. We have the president. There is no debate without Trump. There is a debate without Biden. But there's no debate without Trump. We have the cards. We have the Trump cards in our hand. And we need to exercise the privilege that we have, and we need to stick to our guns.
Yeah,
I wouldn't give in to them. I wouldn't fold.
Absolutely. Well, I hope your book's doing great. We love having you on the show. Hope to have you on more. And thank you very much for giving us a few moments.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. I love this show. I'm glad to be on, and bring me back more often.
Absolutely. Pastor Darrell Scott.
And shut up.
Pastor Darrell Scott. Live from Studio 6B. We're back right after this.